Hi folks, Dinah Bob here, back in California Paleopark for episode 14. And I'm happy to report that cave bears are in the facility. We've got a male and a female, and we'll take a look at their habitat momentarily. We're starting today by the large gift shop, which now has a name and sign declaring that name, Mammoth Gifts. It seems suitable given the mammoth skull in the window. And we, of course, have to go by our Megaloceros habitat because our new habitat is across the street from it. And get a glimpse of it there as we move toward it. And a look back at one of those many new restaurants I've had to put in the park to keep up with the insatiable appetites of the guests. So let's go take a look at our habitat. Brought in the cave bear statue, as only seems appropriate. You can see it there. And yet another facility for those guests. It's slightly floating in the air at the moment, so I have to go back in and fix that. So a little path off the main path. You could see the guests with the binoculars looking for a cave bear. I don't see one, but they're supposed to be out there. And we'll go over to the other half. This habitat is nominally divided to keep the male and female separate except for breeding season. And so there's two viewing areas. There's one of them up there on the hill. I had actually started out this habitat building it roughly the same size as the last one in Lake Wainwright Park, which was the minimum required. And I was just very unhappy with how much space the bears seemed to have, in part because I was very unhappy with the space needed to do terrain manipulation and get a more natural looking slope and such. And yeah, I ended up doubling the size, pushing the care building back and adding more space for my bears, and got a better flow with the elevated sections in the center of each of the halves of the habitat, and dropping the elevation down in the back so the bears have a place that they can go and still have some elbow room while staying away from the noisy guests. You can see the fence visibility connection between the two habitats that are mostly separated by rock. We go inside the care building, which of course doesn't have its props and such, except for the connector gate, which is necessary to make this all one habitat so the bears can go back and forth and be happy with their space. And that's fine. That's fine. If necessary, I could, bring the gate down and separate them. So it's animal viewing time, and we'll start with bear's ears. And I don't mean the National Monument with the excellent paleo formations, but this fellow's, or gal's, I'm not sure which it is, ears there. So making some noise, which you still can't hear. Apologies for that. As he finds himself some very, very good enrichment. And I think he sat down. Yep, he sat down. Or she. Anyway, the bears were roaming pretty well for me. There's a certain amount of vegetation interference. I cut a lot of that out. But I like the heavily vegetated feel for the bears. It looks good letting them wander through the undergrowth, as long as you don't look too closely when they walk through it. So this is a different skin from the one that was in Lake Wainwright Park. It has a nice variation in color around the neck and chest area, with a dramatic difference between the main pelt and that area. These are the fourth mammal in the park, And much like the Megalosaurus, these bears can also deal with temperate environments. So they're a good choice for this park, and can still use a lot of the foliage that the natural vegetation around the park has. So he's looking pretty tired. Excuse me. And he ended up sitting on this sleeping patch, looking very tired, but never actually lying down and going to sleep. But I just can't control which behaviors the animals want to take. Much like real wildlife photography, you kind of get what you get, and then you have to edit out the stuff that didn't quite work. Apologize for my voice today. For some reason, my throat is being difficult for me. So we're getting near the end of the video. You know the drill, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. They all help the channel, and I appreciate it when you do any one of those things. So, a little bit of yawn. I think it's getting to be time for this bear to be about bearish things. Looks like the sun's going down, so I guess it's going to be a very active night. Apologies for all the puns, but it seems inevitable when you have bears in these parks. So off he goes, and it's also time for me to go off as well. Be kind to each other out there. Take care of yourselves, and stop by again for another video next week. This is Dino Bob, signing off for this week.